Good morning, everybody. This is Nate Manahan live from Indianapolis, Indiana, and this is the High Five. Today, we're bringing in one of our oldest friends, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Matt Proctor. We're going to be talking about his story, how he got into payments, how he got into POS, how he works in restaurants and retail, and all the things that he's done in his career, and how that can help you as partners and as people, as professionals in the payments industry, be more successful. All this and more right here in the High Five. Let's get started.
The time has come. The questions are said, opinions hide, discussions are led. A show about nothing and everything, it's all the same. We've got sports, entertainment, sales, and marketing. It's time for the High Five. We've got it all covered. It's time for the High Five. We've got it all covered, yeah. The High Five.
All right, everybody. Well, I am joined today by a very special friend. He is I was going to say a new father, but you're not a new father. What do you call it when you have your third child? Yeah, whatever.
A recent, I don't know, new addition.
A new addition. Has a new infant in his house. And so let me bring up Mr. Matt Proctor. How are you, Matt Proctor? Live from Indianapolis, but about 5 miles from where I'm standing right now in his home. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us today. I was learning, Matt is not a social media fiend like some of the rest of us. And so he hasn't seen a lot of the High Five because he's not on Facebook and he's not on YouTube. But his wife has watched several times. I know because I've chatted with her on some of these, and he's heard all this, but it's his first time. So welcome to the High Five, Matt. We're so glad you could join us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I've heard nothing but great things about the High Five, and actually a lot of the agents I work with have been talking about it and how much they watch every single day. And I thought, well, I better text Nate and Danny and let's see if I can hop on here and enjoy the party with you.
Yep,
help out if I can.
Well, we are glad that you're here, and so as we get started today, we're going to I want to set it up a little bit to tell your story. And let's start with, if you want to tell your childhood, you're welcome to, but more of your history of sales and how you got into the payments industry. And obviously, a lot of that ties into, because I do know your story, some of your hospitality trainings too, how that reflects. But can you tell us first how you got into the payments industry first?
Well, and I guess I haven't told the story a long time. It was actually by accident. And like you said, Nate, I spent almost 20 years running restaurants and bars and all hospitality, many years in fine dining, opened a lot of restaurants, then did consulting. I had a consulting company, and that was just my entire life. That was my background, was food and beverage and every ins and outs of that industry, and I absolutely loved it. But as most of you will know, that can take a toll on your personal life, and it gets a little old working 70 to 90 hours a week and no time with the kids and family and all that. So I was actually looking to get out of that and get a 9-to-5 job, which is never an easy thing to do. And actually I fell into insurance. I did insurance for a couple years, and that was okay. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. But I did just fine at it, and then that's what brought me to payment processing. I was calling on certain businesses because I did business insurance, and walked into a credit card processing company, and it was -5 degrees out, and they were like, "What the heck are you doing out and about?" And they wanted to hire me right there on the spot, and I thought about it and made the transition. And a few short months later, it was probably only 3-4 months later, I got a chance to meet Matt Hoskins and the entire team at PayProTech, and that just kind of started the whole process of this family. We decided to open an office here in Indianapolis, and I had a partner at the time, and we opened that office, hired a
Oh boy, hey, it looks like our Zoom froze there, Matt. Let me see if I can get
soon
him.
After that.
All right.
We started a POS department.
All right. Hey, Matt, you froze just a little bit there. Zoom kind of flaked out on us there for a second, but we caught most of that. So that's all right. That's why I can jump in and kind of do that. I'm not sure always what's going on there, so we're kind of working on that and figuring that out. But Matt, can you tell a little bit when you first got involved in payments? What was your focus then, and how has it evolved into now being part of the POS Pros team and helping sell POS? When you first, I don't know if I assume you didn't do a lot of POS when you first jumped into the payment side.
No. Like most agents, I kind of avoided it like the plague because I knew a lot about POS, but I knew the process that it took, especially with the new POS, and that worried me. And when I first started, I was out just to make a quick sale. Now, remember back then, this was years ago. This is right when it was all about chip cards, and there were still so many businesses that were swiping. And for me, it was easier to go out and close 10 to 15 deals a month by giving out terminals. And I did have a few POSs that I backdoored into, but wasn't really focused on selling that until we decided to open up the POS department. And that kind of opened up my eyes and made me realize, wow, why haven't I been doing this from the beginning? This is more my comfort level. And these are stickier merchants that are going to last a lot longer and, be better in the long run. And their volume is usually higher than some of my small accounts.
Well, and I think for all of us, we certainly have, learned that this is possible by, Robert and yourself and the POS Pros team, that we can have certain people that we can lean on, because you had some special experience because you really started your POS experience as a user, not as a seller. How has that made you more successful when you're using POS? And made you really a very vital asset to us and our team, because you have actually been the user of the POS system.
Well, it definitely helps. It helps and gives me kind of an advantage over even some of the programmers that I work with on a day-to-day basis from some of our POS systems. They only know their system, and that's a great thing, but it also can hurt them. It could be a fault as well. And that's what helps me from spending years with Micros and Aloha and Dash and Squirrel and these different systems, seeing the differences between each one, knowing the programming of each one, what some of the key features that owners are looking for. So that really helps me when I get on a demo. Like, for example, yesterday I had 5.5 hours of back-to-back demos, and almost every one of those were with different restaurant or bar owners. And so when I'm talking to them, I can relate to the staff and them clocking in and out and the reports they need to run and their tips and the checkout and all these things that I know from my time being there. And I let them know, like, this is one thing that was important to me. And they like that. It's not just another tech guy that's sitting in a room all day that just knows the programming. So in that case, it really helps. It helps with that rapport and that connection I have with our merchants.
What, Matt, what are the things that set POS apart from other POS? Because Robert, when he was with us a couple of weeks, he was like, hey, all POS have a certain amount of features, and that's what makes them the POS. But what are those features that differentiate? What are those things when you look at POS, you're like, this one does this one does that, and they don't all do this? What are some of those main features that you're looking at that differentiate from place to place?
Yeah, and I'm sure Robert was talking about some of the very basic stuff, like clock in and clock out and, ringing up some items. But they are all very different, and that's where we come in to help you with having that discussion with the owner or consultation, because there are only certain ones that can do online order. Now, and I know we'll talk about the COVID, but that's a huge deal. I need a system that can connect to my website, and I don't want to have to only use Grubhub and Uber Eats and DoorDash. They're taking the arm and a leg from me. So online ordering is a big deal. I want something that does scheduling. I need detailed inventory. A lot of POSs do not have very detailed inventory where they can also do purchase orders and item countdowns. So when we're talking to an owner, those are key points. They're just pop on the shelf. Whether it's inventory, whether it's online ordering. Oh, you know what? I want my staff to walk around and take orders at the table and take payments at the table. That's a big deciding factor. There's a lot of POSs that can't do that. and we have some that do, we have some that don't. So those are a few. The online orders, the order pay at the table, detailed inventory control, and then obviously if it's restaurant or retail or a hybrid of both, because we deal with so many different types of companies, we want to narrow it down to one of our many systems that is going to be the perfect fit. Instead of just, hey, I've got 5 different options, we can try to make it work. We want to find that exact system.
So coming back in here, let's kind of go into those features for a second. What are those features that, and I'm going to go into 2 different sorts as we set this up, things that merchants think they want and then things that actually make them buy. So let's start with when merchants and partners are coming to you, what are those features that they all think they want and they all think they're going to use? And we have POS systems a lot of times that do all those features, but then, what are those things that are getting people in the door per se?
Yeah, they all want to use everything, but they don't want to pay for everything. And we run into that all the time. I want to have giant screens in my kitchen so that it looks like McDonald's and everyone can just tap on the screens and bump, orders over. We get that one a lot, which is a KDS or kitchen display system. And we have multiple POS that can do that. But then when they see the cost of that and how much that is compared to just a standard kitchen printer, they usually do not end up pulling the trigger and actually going with the kitchen display. Same thing with ordering tableside. I really want to have my servers walk around and take orders at the table. And then when they realize what the cost of that is and how they have to have access points and boosters and all this, then they back off of that sometimes, like, well, maybe I'll add that later. So that's all. The wish list usually it comes right behind it with the cost. And we have some POS systems that have great cost. The pricing is phenomenal when it comes to monthly versus upfront. But once again, it comes down to us having that conversation of, can we do everything they want, but also fit inside their budget? And, normally we can, thankfully. But yeah, KDS and order pay at the table, Nate, those are the 2 biggest thing that they'll start off with a want, and then they'll realize that they really probably don't need it. And it might cost them an arm and a leg at the end.
So what are the things then that do sell the POS? What are the things that make them sign on the dotted line and give over their inventory or give over their menu and start putting this POS in? What are those things that actually make them buy or place that POS?
The number one thing is ease of use, hands down. And that's where the demo comes in. Because they want to know, they want to see it, they want to know that, hey, this is simple for me to use, my staff can pick it up right away, but also still has a lot of functionality. I still want to be able to go in and run a report from last year's St. Patrick's Day and see exactly what we did. I want to be able to go in and adjust my employees' hours and do payroll and all those normal things, but I also want to look good and be very easy to use. Thankfully we have a lot of different hardware options with POS, systems. Some people love an iPad. That's what they want. It looks nice. It's sleek. They can have it locked in a stand. Well, great. We've got a couple iPad systems. Other people are more old school. Like, I want a big legacy POS with a 15-inch computer screen. Great. We've got that too. But it doesn't matter which hardware they use. It's got to be easy for them to use, easy for them to train, something that they feel comfortable with. They want to have that comfort level from the very beginning, or else they're not going to buy. And that's where that demo comes in of, let me break it down very simply for you and show you how easy it is to use.
So let's kind of look at the merchant side of this. So a merchant comes in, and in our world, the partners are greeting with the merchants and building that relationship, and then they're going to POSlead.com and going in, putting in a lead, and helping you guys know that they have someone coming, and then you walk up together with that partner. Let's put our shoes, or put our feet in the merchant's shoes. When they're coming to you the first time and they've never had a POS, what what are they? They ease of use for sure. You mentioned that. But
Yeah, definitely.
what are their biggest fears? Why have they not done that? Let's take a lot of that I know is a typical story because I've watched you guys follow through. They've been in business for 10 years and they've been living off a cash register and the old swipe box, and they're looking to make that move. What are the fears that you have to overcome for them to say, yes, I want to use a point of sale?
Oh man, yeah, they're so scared, and you said it right, Nate. They're scared. They want it to be easy to use. They're worried about it being confused most of the time. What if I don't know how to work? How is the customer service? What if I need to call someone because I know exactly how my cash register works, and I'm worried that I won't be able to get a hold of someone. So it's really, getting that comfort level established with them, letting them know that, hey, yes, it does have 24/7 support, and here's how the team is going to help you, and here's how they can remotely log in. And so it's really breaking down that barrier they put up of why they haven't done a POS in 10 years. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes it's not easy. I've been working with a little boutique up in Michigan now for, 3 months. And it was moving them from their longtime cash register to a POS. They'd looked at probably 8 different systems before I even came into the picture. And then we looked at one. Well, we looked at 2 now, but ended up selling them on one of our POSs. And the COVID happened, and it's given them more time to play with it and get things done. But it's been a lot of hand-holding, because they've never had a POS, and they get frustrated sometimes. And then, I got to calm them down, walk them through. Well, here's how you can do X, Y, and Z. Let's do some more training. They've done a lot of training. And so that's another key factor too, is making sure that whatever POS is presented to them, they can have as much different training as they want. Okay, front of the house, back of the house, ringing up items. The more that we can give them of training, the more comfortable they're going to be, so that when they finally just put that cash register on a shelf and are going POS only, they're very comfortable with their new system. But yeah, it's not always easy, Nate.
And I know that. I mean, you guys work really hard. And I'm going to call it hand-holding both the partner and the merchant, making sure that every step is as seamless as possible. But it's hard work. Putting a new POS system is hard work. So let's put your restaurant hat on, or your back when you were the consumer. What set apart? I know you work for Darden restaurants. You used Aloha. You were using proprietary stuff. What set the POS apart at times, and what were the biggest frustrations for you when you were using POS that are the headaches probably still today?
Yeah. Well, and restaurants, in effect, are a little simpler when it comes to the sales, and especially getting a new POS, because they are familiar with point of sale. They know that they need that to be able to run and to make money and to be successful. They're not going to be able to track their food costs very well, or their waste or shrinkage, without using a POS. So normally they already have something in place, and they might just be looking to upgrade, or, hey, it can't do this, so I want to add these, different features to it. So in my opinion, it's a little simpler, when we're dealing with restaurants. Obviously, I'm a little biased because I'm more comfortable, talking with bars and restaurants. But, times have changed what they're looking at. In the past, 15, 20 years ago when I was doing this, it was all software systems. That's it. They were all big 15-inch screens. You had to be there on site no matter what to be able to do anything at the POS. And now times have changed and make it easier. And business owners and restaurant owners, they know this. So now they might want a cloud system, because they don't want to have to be there all the time. They want to sit on the beach and be able to look at their numbers and run payroll and add buttons if they want to, where in the past they had to go there on site to be able to do that. And even some of the systems I worked with, Nathan, you mentioned, whether it was Aloha, Micros, Dash is proprietary, those systems, all we had to be there on site. Some of the frustrations with that is, obviously, there's a certain area that I have to go to in the store to even access it. They all had a back office. You couldn't go to a terminal and change anything. So I needed to go back 50 feet or 100 feet or wherever it was to a separate office area to adjust anything in the system. I also had to reboot and resync the entire POS. It's very frustrating on a Friday night. If I need to change a button or add something quickly, and now I got to shut down my entire units while we're busy on a wait. We don't have to do that anymore. And that's a great thing, about POS and how it's changed, that now there's systems that sync automatically. I can change something and it goes to my 4 to 6 different units immediately. Or I can access it from one of my screens, and quickly change it right there. If it's a cloud system, then I can just pull up on my phone. So times have definitely changed. If anything, it's made it easier for restaurant owners. I run a lot of restaurant owners that are somewhat confused because there are too many options now, and they know what they like. They know what they used in the past, and now they've got 15 different guys coming out of the woodwork trying to give them cake and toast and Adello and whatever other POS is out there. So that's our job to educate them, talk to them about the different options, and ourselves, we've got multiple options for them. So yeah, I think it's gotten a little easier for restaurant owners, but at the same time, they have so many options now, they don't always know what's best for them until we talk to them.
Well, and so part of this experience that I want people to, as they get to know you, especially for our newer partners or those who may be watching this that are just considering being part of the PayProtect family and are just payment professionals, that is that you don't have to go it alone, because you've mentioned all these things. You have all this experience, one, as a user, but then you're also now experienced as a just focusing on POS and just selling POS for multiple years now. Why is that such an added feature for our boots on the ground partners who are helping merchants across the United States? Why is having you so important? And obviously the rest of the POS Pros team, but you're the one we're talking to. Why is the POS Pros team so important to actually providing value and making it easier for them to not have to know everything about POS?
Oh, it's huge. And for all of you out there that have worked at different processing companies or have been at PayProtect for years, that's a huge X factor, because you don't get this with other processing companies at all. I was thrilled when we were deciding to start this process up and have this entire department, because I don't know if I think I said this at the beginning, Nate. When I first started in processing, I did not do POSs, and I avoided it because not only did I not have any team to work with as far as the POS side, but I didn't want to go through that process. I couldn't describe the one POS that we were using. I couldn't describe it in detail. And now, as a partner with PayProtect, you don't have to worry about that at all. You have an entire team of myself and Robert and Tim and Morgan that our entire job is to sell POS for you and to help you and to explain all the differences in the POS systems. So you guys as partners do not have to learn all the ins and outs and everything about these systems. All you have to do is set it up. Get us a warm lead where, hey, you know what? I think I've got a couple options for you. I've got a great POS system in mind, but I have an entire point of sale team. Would it be okay if I connect you with them? Or would it be okay if, hey, let's set up a day and time for a demo. Let me get with my point of sale team and we'll figure out exactly which the best option is going to be for you. So it's just a great safety net. Take all the pressure off you guys as the agents, that you don't need to know everything about this. I still have agents reach out to me almost every day. Hey, I want to know about this, this, and this, and this. They suddenly want to learn about 5 systems. And if I had about 2 to 3 weeks with them, 6 hours a day, sure, I'll teach you every little thing about every one of those systems. But they don't need to. It's like, well, you don't need to. You can know enough just to be dangerous of, hey, this is an iPad system. Hey, this does online ordering. Hey, this is great for bars. Hey, that's it. A nice overview so you understand a little bit about each system, and then lean on us. We've got an entire department here to help you sell. It's still your merchant. All right. You still get the residuals and bonuses and all that. Some people still think we try to take deals from them. Our whole job in this department is to sell the POS for you. And we do that a lot. And so this is something that is nothing new. We've had this department open now for almost 5 years. So it's very comfortable for us, and we want the agents to lean on us as much as possible. Sorry, Nate. I got sun coming in.
I
There we
know.
go.
I should have had you pull. I was noticing that as it was moving. The sun is. I'm glad to see the sun after the last couple of days. So,
Yeah.
but what are as we look at POS now? So it's becoming. We've always said technology is overtaking the payments industry, and if you don't embrace point of sale and the higher end technology, you'll be left behind in X amount of years. I'm not going to put a name on it, but it's coming. I think my take is that COVID-19 has even fast forwarded that for those businesses that have been able to survive and will thrive on the other side. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, 100%. And if anything, it's kind of smack the butt of our POS companies to get their butts in gear. The ones that weren't doing curbside pickup or mobile payments now suddenly have been freaking out trying to get that released. If they weren't doing online ordering, you better believe they spent night and day, endless amounts of hours trying to get their online ordering. So it's kind of kicked the butt of the POS companies. The ones that already had those things in place have thrived during COVID-19. Even though businesses were closed or were only doing curbside, a lot of them were still adding things. People don't realize that is that they were still buying. Hey, I really want to do curbside pickup, or I need online ordering right now. What do you have? Because they were scrambling to stay open and get business coming in, and they knew they couldn't just do that trying to answer the phone all the time and take orders. So now I think everyone is much more aware of point of sale in general, how it works, how technology can really help them with the online orderings or with QR codes, or can I connect this to my Facebook so people can easily go in and order from me? And it doesn't matter if it's retail or restaurant. We've seen it with both, but I think you hit the nail on the head there, Nate, and that the COVID, if anything, helped kind of shine a light on what POSs can do and how much it can really help a business during a time of need like this. And now suddenly every POS company is trying to do everything it can to handle those needs during the COVID. And a lot of them couldn't before.
Well, let's jump into some of those specific COVID features that are become so important. The contactless payments, the curbside payments, the being able to take curbside ordering, all those things. What are some of the features, and let's go even more into the specifics of things that PayProtect offers and that you are representing, are features now that are extremely important. Let's start with hospitality and restaurants, and then we'll move to retail. And there's crossover, obviously, but with restaurants and hospitality, what are those features, and what POS systems do we have that has those features that are key in this new whole reality that we live in, where we're 6 feet away and our tables are 6 feet away and our dining rooms are only allowed to have 50 or 75%, and even that most people are scared to come in. So what are some of the key features? You already mentioned them, let's say online ordering, curbside payments, those things. What POS systems do we have that offer that?
Yeah, those are the main features, and to be honest, I'm going to mention something that a lot of our PayProtect agents probably have never heard of or dealt with, but it's one of our newer POS systems, and the timing couldn't be better because we brought them on at the end of 2019, and it was good that we had them before this COVID-19, and that's AST. It's Amber Systems Technology. AST's been around 15 years, and one thing that they've really capitalized on and been doing for a long time is online ordering. They do a great job with it, and their pricing is the lowest that I've ever seen with the POS because they only charge $10 a month for online ordering. And they do have handheld devices very similar to Toast. So there's a nice little screen with a printer and a chip reader built in. They have kiosk capabilities because that's another thing with this COVID. People are asking about that. Is there a way people can just walk up and I can sanitize it? People walk up and just ring up an order. Yes, we have that. So our sales with AST just kind of took off over the last 3 months because they already had all these different features. We have other POS systems that still can't. They either don't do online ordering or they don't have curbside pickup. Hot sauce, we've had a decent amount of hot sauce because they've got a great carry out and to-go modular, so they can track their actual customer database. Because you got to remember, these businesses are still trying to not only stay open, but build what the customer database they already have. So they want to cache that information and put it in their loyalty program, do email marketing, things like that. So with Hot Sauce, they have a great carryout module that they have, but they don't really do curbside at all. They don't do curbside order pay at the table. Paradise is still behind on that as well. They're working on that right now of getting online ordering up and going and working with third-party delivery companies. But it's just not released yet, and they don't really have that order pay out the table. So AST, I hate to just focus on one system here, but that's been the main go-to during this entire COVID because they have so many features that everyone is looking for, and their pricing is very competitive, and that's why we worked out with PayProtect even to be able to do a somewhat of a placement option with them for cash discount, because we started seeing that take off so much during the last 2 months.
What do you think are the or what? Let's take a step. I'm getting my question here. You work with merchants every day. What's their? Are they apprehensive? What's the general feel that you're getting from merchants as you're talking to them, as you're doing demos? Obviously, you get to them when they're at least open to doing a demo and a consultation. But let's get the pulse.
Sometimes they are.
Yes, but at least they're being handed off in some way. But what's the pulse you're getting from merchants and what they're feeling across the U.S.? Is there things that you're learning from them as we're seeing businesses start to reopen, or at least dining rooms opening in restaurants and retail is being allowed to have some people in? How are they feeling right now?
They're a little more hesitant, as they should be, and obviously it depends state by state. So depending on what state they're in, that's the first conversation is a great icebreaker is, hey, how are things going? Where are you at 50% capacity right now? A lot of our conversation is, how was the business running before COVID-19? Can you describe that to me? How is the business running now with that already in place? But if anything, they're just a little more cautious. They're in my opinion, a little smarter with POS because now they realize what they really want it to do. Sometimes when they're ready to move forward, they want to do it in a smaller capacity, which is great because they can always add to a POS. So we've had a lot of sales recently that are, let's start with one station and a kitchen printer because I'm only, filling up 8 to 12 tables a night, and let's get everyone comfortable with it and trained. And then when we're really fully open again and kicking and crazy on Friday, Saturday nights, I'll add a second or third station. That's not a problem. So if anything, this timing has been okay with a lot of business owners because it has given them time to now reflect on what they want a POS to do, as well as make sure that they can transition to something new and they have time to actually learn it. So it's definitely changed the perspective of different business owners, and some of them have just been closed, and so they're like, hey, now's the time. I'm doing some remodeling and I need a new POS. Or they want to do a free placement option because I don't have any money right now. Money's, is low and not coming in. So we want to look at one of our options that, has a free placement. Which actually, speaking of that, Nate, and I apologize for not mentioning this, but, we do have a new POS, and I'm not sure if we've even discussed that or Robert brought it up to you guys, that is now owned by us, by our, POS department, our company, and that's called Solido. And Solido does have order and pay at the table options and is great for restaurants and bars, and there's a free placement option. So that's something you're going to hear us talking about more and more and more when it comes to any type of restaurant is going to be Solido. And it's an iPad POS. A lot of people really like that.
Well, we're seeing more and more that the benefit you guys bring to the table is that you have so many options.
I can't hear you, Nate.
Oh, sorry. I put the cough button on a second ago. Apologize for that. I was taking a drink of water, too, and forgot to put it up. One of the things we know is you have lots of options to offer people, and Solido now is just one great option. For our sales partners and the people that you're there to support, we're all here to support and help them as they're out in the field interacting with these merchants. What would be, if you were in their shoes now and you were going door to door, making phone calls, building ads on Facebook, what would be your offer? What would be your pitch to these merchants that the value you're bringing in these point of sale offerings? How would you put that together?
Well, I mean, the best pitch to a merchant is assessing their needs. I mean, like we've always talked about in sales. I get that conversation started about what they like or don't like about their POS or what they're looking for in a POS. They're always going to tell you something. I'd say 5% of the time you're going to walk in and they say, oh my God, I love my point of sale. It's the best thing ever. And I will never look at another system. That just doesn't happen. So it's just assessing their needs of, hey, what do you think about third-party deliveries? Are you using Grubhub and Uber Eats and all that? How would you like that to go directly to your POS? Like, oh gosh, that'd be great. We have systems that can do that. Or, are you doing an online ordering? What do you think? Would you like to do something like that? Sure, that'd be great. So it's just having that open conversation with them about different possibilities to get more revenue coming in. What would you like the system to do that maybe it's not doing now? And then once again, it's not you as the agent having to know every single thing about the POS. It's just getting that little light to go off in their head of, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'd be open to hear about that. I can pass along the credit card fees. What? That's a great deal. Little things like that. Because most of and when I say most, I mean 98% of every demo I do now is about edge pricing, edge program. Okay, that is a huge deciding factor in a lot of these POSs, and we make sure that everyone that we offer can do that. So that's a big thing too. Is, oh, my POS can't do that. Let's look at something new. And guess what? This one also does online ordering or order pay at the table or whatever it might be. So now if I was out and about and we do this all the time, I do training with different agents, it's assessing those needs, finding out what they might want to do, asking questions of things that they've never even thought about. Based on what you guys know as agents after calls like this, you could go in and have that conversation of, would you like to do order or pay at the table? Would you like to do online ordering? How is this POS working for you? How about if I eliminate all of your processing fees and save you tens of thousands of dollars a month? That more than covers the cost of any new POS system. It'll do it for you. So if anything, Nate, I think it's a little easier now. Back in the day, we didn't have an edge program to be able to push out there. We didn't have all these fun, crazy POSs that have all these options. So yeah, the competition's tough, but now we have a lot more things to sell instead of, hello, my name is Matt and I sell Aloha. That's all I have.
Well, let's set the tone on this is that, hey, so many of these salespeople that are walking in only sell toast or only sell cake. They work for Cisco and they don't even understand cake, but it happens to be something they offer. Or toast, they work for Gordon Food Service.
Guy.
Yeah.
I just give away Clover. I don't know how it works, but I'll give you a Clover.
And our partners walk in with so many options in their back pocket, and experts like yourself, that it differentiates them immediately that they're not just a one-hit wonder. They have a whole smorgasbord, which are no longer allowed, CDC, sorry. But we have a whole smorgasbord of options. A plethora, love it. So two last questions. Let's start with, how does the process work for our partners? Because our audience here are both people that are currently our partners and then people that are considering being our partners. So how does our process work for using the POS Pros team? And then I'll do the second question. That's plenty long for the first question. So can you walk someone through the ideal process of how it works to work with the POS Pros team?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first key is what we were just talking about of having that conversation with the owner, getting some type of interest. I mean, if it even smells like a POS, that's where we want to move to step 2. Okay. And step 2 is when you're actually submitting the lead and putting it to poslead.com. That does not mean we're going to take your merchant from you. That doesn't mean we're just going to start blowing them up and trying to get them on the phone. That just gets it into our CRM so that we have the ability, and my team here can then put together quotes for you and do consultation, everything we need to do. If you send me a long email or you call me and you tell me 100 things about this merchant, what do you think, Matt? How about blah, 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 blah? The very first thing I'm going to tell you every time is go to poslead.com, put in the lead, put in the notes there, Matt, this is what we talked about, but we have to have that information. Okay, so that's step 2. My team is also trained. We will never, ever reach out to your merchant without talking to you, period. Okay, so when that lead comes in, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to call that agent phone numbers on there. Please make sure that is a correct phone number for you. I've had people put the merchant's phone number for the agent, and that just throws everything off, because then I'm thinking I'm calling to talk to the agent, and suddenly I've got an owner on the phone that I don't know anything about. Okay, so we're always going to call you as the agent first, just to have that discussion. Hey, what'd you guys talk about? Tell me a little bit more about the place. Is it a large building? How many stations do they have? Are they using a POS now, or are they not? Any other information you can give us, and then we're going to talk about next steps. Would you like me to reach out to the merchant and go ahead and set up a day and time for a demo? Would you like to go ahead and do that? You can as well. I've got a lot of agents that they set them up themselves. I have no problem with that. I don't talk to an owner until we're on a demo. We're here to help 100% based on how you guys want to do it. So if you already have that great rapport with them and they've been your merchant for 8 years, great. I'll talk to you about it, and we'll see, hey, we think hot sauce will be the best fit, or Paradise, or Solido, or ASC, whatever it might be. And then I can let you know this coming week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, these are times are still available. Why don't you reach out to the merchant and let me know what's good for them? Or obviously we can give them a call too. From then, we want to do the demo. We want to make sure they're comfortable. And I can't stress this enough. A demonstration is critical to the sale of any POS. Okay, I don't care what people say. If they don't see the POS and they don't know how it works and they don't know anything about it, and you just sell it and suddenly ship it out to them, they might hate it in a week or two, because it might have been something simple that we would have gone through in a demo. Maybe they didn't have their wiring put together. Maybe they didn't know there was a cloud system. There's all these things that can go wrong, that we can set those expectations in a quick 30 to 45 minute call or a demo. Okay, it's setting them up for success, letting them understand everything about the POS, but really what it can do, what it can't do, how it's going to work, how it's going to look. That's what we're here for. So I can't stress that enough. We do not want to sell POS without doing some type of a demonstration, even if it's short, because we want to see, them to understand what it's going to do and what it's going to look like. And then from then on out, it's a done deal. We'll handle all the POS paperwork. You as the agent don't have to worry about it. We just let you know that we're going to need a merchant account set up with EPX. If they're on the Edge program, that's even better. We need an MID, an approved MID, before we can order the hardware. But our team here can take care of all of the POS paperwork, and Morgan does a great job of that. She can send out DocuSigns for any. So you guys don't have to worry about POS paperwork.
And one of the key things about doing this whole process, because you guys do so much of the heavy lifting, but one of the key things that every partner should be doing is setting those expectations. So making sure the merchant understands how this process is going to work, and how, what are the things that can change and what are important that the merchant must do. So let's talk about some of those key expectations that we need to set, both for the partners and the merchants, in order about from how long this process will take, how long it takes to do a menu, how long it takes to put an inventory in. What are some of those important expectations that certainly help our partners be more successful and our merchants be happier?
Yep. Well, timing's the first one. That's always important. And in my opinion, it's kind of common sense, but I still have to remind people about this. A POS system is not a VX520. It's not a Deja Vu terminal. If a merchant says, I need a POS in 4 days, that's not realistic. It's not going to happen. If you want to give them a terminal, great, throw them a terminal. You can get that to them in 2 or 3 days. But it's setting that expectation of, hey, this is a full point of sale system that takes a lot of programming. It takes training on your part. It takes wiring to make sure it's all, hardwired, and there's a kitchen printer. So, timing is number one, the big thing. And you'd be surprised. Every single week we run into this. Hey, they're opening in 8 days. Can we do a POS? And you know what? Sometimes we can. With different systems, sure. If they sign paperwork today, we can get expedited shipping and get shipped out in a day or two. But we still have to get all that programming done, and they still have to go through training and all that. So, those cases aren't easy. We don't come by them too often. If anything, that scares me, because that means that owner is not always the sharpest tack, and that worries me. They're not even going to be open in a year if that's something that they didn't think about or aren't prepared for a POS. Okay, so timing is a big thing when it comes to expectations. And then setting expectations for training, that's another big thing. If the owner is not present and the owner is never there, then we need to find someone else that is there, their general manager or whoever it might be, to be able to help with the training and the menu build and the the program, everything that comes with the POS. You'd be surprised. We run into that a lot. Talk to an owner. Yes, I want this system. Cool. Send me the paperwork. I'll sign it. We'll be good to go. Then a week and a half goes by and Hot Sauce or one of our POS companies can't get them on the phone ever. Tons of phone calls, emails, and they're like, we're not even going to ship anything because we don't know if these guys even exist. So that's a big expectation, is letting them know, communicate with your POS company, talk to them as much as you can, set up training, set up a menu review, installation, all that. So those are really, some of those big points, Nate. It would be the timing, the customer service, and getting that expectation. Because when it comes down to what the POS does, we cover all that in the demo. Wiring, it sounds like it wouldn't be a big deal, but you'd be surprised. We always have that talk about networking and wiring, making sure they've got an Ethernet line going to every station. They've got an Ethernet line going back to the kitchen. Just in general, that they have Cat5 cable going everywhere. People still realize that, don't realize that they have to have that. These POS systems now do not run off Wi-Fi. The majority, and actually I would never recommend anyone to use a POS system that runs off Wi-Fi, but people try. Sadly, some still try.
It is.
So that's a few.
I mean, obviously, as just if you can wire it, always wire it. And Wi-Fi is, I would say, Wi-Fi is convenience, but it is not, should not be a runner of anything. I'm hardwired in right now. I'm going to guess you're probably running off of Wi-Fi right now, but or maybe hardwired in. I'm not sure.
No, I'm hardwired in, baby.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, even at home, if you can be wires are just more reliable. Even those go bad, but they're more reliable than the little floating bits that are radio frequencies that are being able to allow us to have that convenience of Wi-Fi. All right, last thing, and then there's so many things I've always want to talk to you about, and we're going to continue having our conversation with POS Pros, and as I'm doing this, I'm like, man, we're probably going to spin off its own show again and just have a POS Pros update. But I didn't follow up with a question I wanted to earlier and kind of got sidetracked. The differentiation between some of the verticals that we can help with POS. So we've talked a lot about restaurant, but there are a lot of retail, salons, a lot of things that we can help. What are some of those verticals that maybe everybody thinks restaurant for point of sale, because it's nearly impossible to do a restaurant well without a point of sale, but there's a lot of retail opportunity. What are some of those opportunities that you're seeing that are very, people may be missing on the retail side?
Yeah, well, our biggest two right now, there's two that are huge. Liquor stores, we do a lot of liquor stores. Every week we have at least one or two liquor stores closing. And then convenience stores. Small little convenience store. I do a little grocery. I do some lottery, do some cigarettes, tobacco, alcohol, whatever it might be. Those two right there are perfect. They're right in our wheelhouse. We've got a couple different systems that are great for that. Whether it's Retail Cloud, whether it's Paradise, whether it's Vend, there's three options right there that all could be a perfect fit for it. Based on what they want to do. If they're doing bottle deposits, or liquor stores, they're doing case breakdowns. If they want their barcode scanner to be able to scan driver's licenses. I want to be able to scan in IDs to make sure it's valid. Well, great, we can do that. So I'd say those two are the biggest: liquor stores, convenience stores. We still have a good amount of salons, but that really slowed down because during COVID, they were all shut down for a good couple months. But Growzilla is still a phenomenal scheduling point of sale system that is built for beauty, salons, nail spas, hair, tanning, even doggy daycare, any company that is doing detailed scheduling where they want people to be able to go on their Instagram, their Facebook, their website, and book appointments, and also be able to have all their employees clock in, do tips, whether it's booth rent or whether it's commission. All that is perfect for Growzilla. And they are one of the few POSs that are all built on the SMS platform. So it's all text messaging. They have text, I'm losing my mind. Text alerts for when it's coming close to their appointment time, text reminders, marketing through texting. So that's something we don't see in a lot of POS. We don't have that with their restaurant POS. We don't have that with most of our with our retail POS. So that's a nice feature of salons. And obviously, there's still industry-specific systems out there that that we just don't have. But with the point-of-sale options that we've brought in, I mean, the numbers are about, I'd say, 90%. And Nate, correct me if I'm wrong, that of industries out there we can work with. I mean, it's a large amount of all retail and restaurant. We'll have some solution that can help the majority of the time.
Yeah, and that's where it's the hand to be able to work with your relationship managers, the PayProTech, and the POS Pros team. Because sometimes it's not a system that the POS Pros team manages when you get into these niches, but it's working with Billy West and the operations team to say, how do we integrate into these niches? Because, there are opportunities in these really, golf courses or other, and then it's like, okay, there is a way to integrate with them through a gateway, and that is usually using our operations team. And that's why we always say start with your relationship manager, and then when it's time to bring in the POS Pros team, you just go to POSelite.com, and it's right there, and it works. Matt, I've taken up almost 50 minutes of your time today, so we're so thankful for this. This, as we are telling our payment professionals, this is what sets PayProTech apart and has for over 5 years. In our POS Pros logo, they support a few other entities within our family of NAB Holdings, but they were founded at PayProTech in 2015, and we are proud of the team and so thankful. And that mixed with our relationship managers sets our partners apart, and that's what we are about, of helping our partners build their business, build their portfolio, and help the small and medium businesses across the United States continue to thrive, to figure out how to overcome COVID. We're in this together, and that's why we do these things. So Matt, thanks so much for being here. If they, not so much, obviously POSlead.com, but if they, as they learn more things about POS, what would be your first recommendation? Hey, I want to learn more about POS. What should they do? What would be your first tip, just to say I want to get my feet wet about point of sale?
Well, first and foremost, just reach out to us. I don't think we mentioned this earlier, but, our office line, we're all available, through the office line. It's 866-694-5111. So again, that's 866-694-5111. And just set up a call. We do it all the time. I can't guarantee that it's going to be right away, that day, just because I'm looking at my calendar now and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got 5 different demos just this afternoon. So, we do get very busy, and obviously the merchant is our number one priority, but also training you guys is a big deal. And so helping you with that, if it's just jumping on a quick little Google meeting call where I can share my screen and, hey, let's go through a couple things, reach out to us directly, because we can help you with some training. We are a small staff here, so we can't always set up detailed, long 1-hour trainings. That's where Nate comes in and really helps with that, where we can hop on with him and kind of connect with everyone. But just feel free to reach out to us directly. You can also email us at POS Sales, okay? POS Sales at paymentshub.com. Okay, or actually POS Sales at payprotech.com. So I apologize. There's 2 different ways. So no matter what, whether it's myself, my partner Robert, our other guy Tim, or Morgan, we can all help in any questions you might have. And like Nate said, if it's a POS that we don't sell and they're going to stick with it, then let's just try to work with our partner team and do the processing. Find out what gateway it is. No matter what, the goal is that you actually get the credit card processing. That's first and foremost.
Yep. And one of my encouragements always is start with your partner relationship, start with Coach Mike, get that training up, and then move into the POS, because what we want to make sure that the POS Pros team is focused on is certainly making you aware, but they are there really to support your merchant and make you successful with your merchant, and lean on Coach Mike and our team and they bring in the POS trade. I'm sure, Matt is part of that conversation multiple times a week when our people are reaching out to the POS team when it's ready. But our relationship team is there to take care of you. Matt, thanks so much for being with us. Thanks for another great high five. Thank you so much for all you're doing. We're just so thankful to have the POS Pros team part of our PayProtect family, and I know our partners love it, and I look forward to the partners that are watching this that are going to be jumping in and start using POS, because this was what will set you apart. If you're not selling POS, let me tell you, you're going to be left behind I think faster than we think. I think this is fast forwarding it. The businesses that thrive are the ones who figured out how to use technology to make their life easier and to actually make their business run smoother. And our POS Pros team is there to help with all of that. Matt, thanks so much. Thanks for everybody. And on that, we appreciate it. Have a great day.